We trade things for money to trade money for something else. We want the something else more than we want the money. Welcome everybody to a very random drink with Moran. Today's random drink is coffee, all black. It's that kind of day. Needed to pick me up this afternoon. Today, we're talking about 3 constraints that keep even the most successful people stuck. We're also going to talk about promoting products on Instagram and on social media, and we're going to be doing a review of a protein cereal. Let's dive in. First things first. If you are watching on a replay, if you're watching video, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook later, this is the time to sit down and buy me a cup of coffee. I get a ton of requests from people who are like, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can I pick your brain? Which, by the way, is the worst question to ask somebody who has no time. So please don't do that. But this is an opportunity for you to come on in, get settled, grab a cup of coffee, and to have a random drink with Moran. First things first, I believe that entrepreneurs are the solution to all the world's problems. So for every entrepreneur who's watching, grab your cup, grab your drink, and please join me for the sip heard around the world. Good work. Today, I want to chat with you about 3 constraints that I have seen hold people back. I've seen even entrepreneurs who get to the $1 million point. For a lot of people who aren't at the million yet, it's just about knowing what to do and going. Like, can I move fast enough? Like, do I have clarity of vision in order to move forward? Do I have an offer? And am I putting it in front of the audience, which is something we talk about over and over again here on the channel. That's like clear everything out of the way. The way you get to your first million is by knowing what your offer is and bringing it to the marketplace. And if it is what your audience wants, you have $1 million business. But even when you get to the first million, the big constraint that holds a lot of entrepreneurs back is the vision and the clarity of where to go from here. Because if you've never run a business before, if you're an entrepreneur who has a big vision, who has a big dream, who wants a bigger life, and you've gotten to the $1 million, a lot of times what they do after that point is kind of, they're surprising themselves. It's, I had an idea or I had an offer, I had my 3 to 5 products that gave me $1 million brand, but after the first million, now I'm kind of guessing, because I've already passed what I thought was possible for myself. So as a result, I'm not sure how I'm going to get to 2 million or 5 million or 10 million, or do I even want to work that hard, or do I just want to enjoy my life? That's a big question that comes up. So what we've done and what I've helped entrepreneurs do that I think is really impactful for them to make that pivot from either being lost or not knowing what to do next, or not knowing how to go from 1 million to 10 million or beyond, is to sit down and I like to model Cameron Herold's model for this, which is called the Vivid Vision, which is a 2 to 3 page document about what you want out of your life or out of your business. What do things look like? What does your home look like? What does your organization look like? What does the marketing team look like in terms of size? What is your employee energy like? Who's on your team? What type of dreams are you pursuing? When you have that idea, that clarity that everyone on the team is following, or if you've got it for your life, then you have a filter through which to make decisions. Even Amazon sellers who hit this point of, I've got $1 million business, I'm not sure what to do next. The reason is because they used a vehicle, which was Amazon, and they used a strategy, which was a few products that they were selling on Amazon, but they never really outlined what they wanted their business to be, what they wanted that to give them, how big they wanted it to be. And without that, you are always going to be responding to other people's demands. So my recommendation, if you are at any sticking point in life or business, is to take the time to get away and to write out a 2 to 3 page document that is your vision for what you want your life and or your business to look like. We at capitalism.com read through our vivid vision at every quarterly meeting. We sit down and say, this is what we're building. Are we all on track? What are our sticking points and how do we get there? What do we need to focus on this quarter to build out our vivid vision? So there's one other thing that you could do. Go to people who have an outside opinion. Those who have been where you want to be, the people who are living a life, building the things that you want to build, hanging out with the people that you want to hang out with, and do what it takes to get around them so that they can offer you the clarity that you might not have right now. Whether that's a coach or a mentor or some dude on the internet, or it's going to a conference, or whatever it is that you need to get the perspective that will give you the vision and the clarity that you need to put it on paper of this is what I want my life and my business to be. That's the first thing that has to happen before you can cross through $1 million or any plateau that you have hit in your business. The second constraint that entrepreneurs run into, regardless of where they are in their process, is that they are low on capital. Now, capital does not necessarily mean money, but it can. Capital can also be the time in order to put into the growth that you want to experience. You're resource constrained. You had the resources, the time and the energy. Actually, the last year of my life, it was energy. I sold a company. I went through a hard transition in my personal life. I was managing multiple businesses at the same time. I didn't have the energy to be able to grow. So what did I have to do? I had to get real quiet. I had to disappear for a while. I had to change the direction of my podcast. I had to cut a lot of things out of my life in order to give up, to create space for me to be able to build out the vision that I want. One of my mentors, Kevin Nation, says that the biggest thing that holds entrepreneurs back is that they're too busy doing things that they shouldn't be doing in order for them to be able to tackle the right opportunity that comes along. Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it's not about your experience, your talent, your handsomeness level. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing. Have you had the right things align at the right time for you to strike fire? Now, how about money? Let's talk about money. Money is a resource. It's a resource, but it's one of many, many resources. Money is a means of exchange, and it's actually the least persuasive means of exchange. Let that sink in for a second. We trade things for money to trade money for something else. We want the something else more than we want the money. So as you are negotiating with people, as you are connecting with people, as you are working with people, as you're coming up with ideas with people, the worst negotiating position for you to be on is one that exchanges money. So for those of you who say, I don't have enough money, no, you are not being resourceful to allocate those resources to what people actually want. For example, some people say, I can't build a business because I don't have the capital to be able to do it. Do you have any idea that there is so much money floating out in the world looking for good business ideas? What you actually don't have is a well thought out business with an audience that wants to support it. Because if you had that, getting capital would be real easy. Money is a resource. Time is a resource. In fact, I don't lack money, I lack time. And I need to be more protective of my time than I need to be of my capital, meaning my money. I need to be more protective to clear up time so that I can strike at the right opportunity more than I need to be protective of money. And so do you. You're an entrepreneur. Your job is to be a steward of resources, to multiply capital by using resources. That's your job. Most of you are not successful because you don't have enough time. And that's our own fault, because we're distracted by a bunch of things because we don't have the clarity of where we want to go next. The way we clear time is that you just stop doing things. you cut things out. The universe requires that you make a trade. If you want to go in this direction, you must cut something out that is holding you from having the flexibility in the room to focus on what it is that you have clarity about. And money is just a resource. If you're not where you want to be, you usually aren't missing good ideas. You're not even missing a strategy. You're missing people. You're missing people who hold you accountable. You're missing people who open up opportunities. You're missing people who have the playbook and the strategy of going where you want to go. That's what changes everything. I mean, I could give you the strategy for growing on Instagram, but that wouldn't be nearly as impactful as if you had a partner who was a master at growing on Instagram. I could give you the playbook to building $1 million business. That wouldn't be nearly as impactful as partnering or learning from somebody who has actually done it. That is the biggest constraint that holds people back. So most of the time when you've crossed that $1 million threshold, it's time to get a new network because you've outgrown your peer group. And in order for you to keep growing, you have to surround yourself with a different level of person who is ahead of where you are now so that you can go to where you want to be. Who you become is who you spend time with because we're wired to become like the tribe. The highest ROI that you will get is who you spend your time with. Not only because it's everything about how we enjoy our lives, but it's also how our brains rewire itself in order to become the type of person that matches the rest of the tribe. So if you want to be super fit, hang out with fit people. If you want to be rich, do what it takes to get around rich people. I don't know how to do that. Find out what's important to those people and be resourceful enough to get it to them. And that is how you change your network, and that's how you change your net worth. Whew. All right, now let's have a random drink with Moran. I'll fill up my coffee cup here, and I will look at your questions. Let's see, Maria, how can you acquire funds to start a business online? First of all, what's the business? Second of all, how much money do you need? Third of all, if you have those two things lined up, getting capital is absolutely no problem. If you are clear in your vision, if you're clear in your execution, then money flows to you. If you don't have the money to start a business, you will have a resource problem, not a money problem. You have a clarity problem, not a resource problem. Because if you are clear enough, you can start any business and the capital will flow to you. All right, so Aiden asks, what brands and markets can be sold for 8 and 9 figures? This is a great question. So I like big markets. I like markets with high profit margin. And I like markets that have some sort of consumability. Now, most businesses have an essence that could be consumable. Everything is going to wear out at some point, so people are going to come back. But I like consumables like beauty brands, supplements, food, drink, convenience packaging. I like things that are going to be consumed so that you have to buy more of them. I also like high margin products, which come from branding. So, you know, my business partner Clement and I were laughing yesterday. There's a shoe brand called Allbirds. Allbirds is valued at $1.4 billion. Really? Really? $1 billion for that shoe company? It's a brand. And brands are more valuable than the product themselves. So many times the valuation of a company is not necessarily the space it's in how big is the customer base. It's what's the profitability, how strong is the brand, how responsive is the audience, are people connecting with this brand, are they coming back for more and more and more from that brand, do they digest its content? So all those things run into the overall valuation of a company. But I like big brands that are consumable with high profit margins. That's my sweet spot for a brand. Daniel Franken asks, what sources do you use to reach your target audience? Help me answer, where do they hang out? Your target audience hangs out in Facebook groups, around influencers. They listen to podcasts. They subscribe to YouTube channels, or Facebook and Instagram can do the targeting for you. So whatever your target audience is, they tend to congregate in ponds around certain people or certain topics. So who do they follow? What do they read? Those are the questions that if you answer them, you can show up in front of those people very quickly. You can create content around the pain points that they have, or you can pay the influencer that they already follow to be able to get in front of them. So your audience hangs out in pretty predictable groups of people. For example, I have one student who sells recyclable things. So it's like a kind of a green living, reusable, zero waste kind of lifestyle brand. And so they went to a Facebook group that was completely focused on waste-free living. The result, they went to that Facebook group, they asked if they could talk about their business, and they funded a Kickstarter within 30 days because they had one influencer of people that had a Facebook group specifically for that target market. So your target audience hangs out in groups. Go get in front of them through influencers, by targeting groups, or letting Facebook or Instagram do the targeting for you. Let's go into a product review for the day. Now, I discovered this product on Instagram. This Instagram targeting is getting really good. Everything you click on, everyone you follow, Instagram knows it. And guess what? If you promote products, it's a really good place to put your products, especially physical products. I'm very, very bullish on using Instagram to promote physical products. Boy, am I bullish on using Instagram to promote physical products, and specifically ads and your own intentional content, because it's so easy to get influencers excited about a product on Instagram. If you have a physical products business and you're not regularly posting content, you're not regularly reaching out to Instagram, and you're not running Instagram ads, you are missing out on so much exposure. Please, for the good of your business, be running ads, put out content of you using the product, put out things that connect with your audience, and reach out to influencers. Please do it. It is the greatest white space on the internet right now. And I have proof, because just this last week, I bought this on Instagram, and I'm pretty stoked about it. This is a protein cereal called Ditch Sugar, Catalina Crunch, zero sugar foods. I eat a mostly low carb diet, and Instagram knows that based on what I have clicked on. So I bought this on Instagram, wasn't on Amazon. I bought it through their store. So I haven't opened this or tried it, but what really attracted me to this, here's branding 101 for you. First of all, they knew exactly who their audience was. It was like a low carber. I didn't have to read any reviews. I just bought it out of curiosity. All right, so check this out. What attracted me to it was it's a super low calorie cereal. So this one serving, 3/4 of a cup, is 90 calories with 8 grams of protein, 12 carbs, 7 of it fiber. Pretty damn good. All right. Smells like chocolate. This is what it looks like. Ooh. Oh, I should read the ingredient profile too. So it is pea protein, potato fiber, corn fiber, chicory fiber, acacia fiber, guar gum, turmeric, tapioca flour, sunflower oil, cacao, baking powder, sea salt, calcium, monk fruit, vitamin E. Okay. And I got my handy dandy macadamia milk, and we're going in for the taste test of Catalina Crunch chocolate ditch sugar cereal. Here we go. Holy crap, it's good. It's just a little bland. I would mix in chocolate protein into the milk and then have a super protein breakfast. That would be really chocolatey. The texture is perfect. Catalina Crunch, great freaking job on the texture. I think it's missing that punch in the face flavor, but it's really good. I'm actually very impressed with this texture. Most low-carb foods are like cardboard texture. This is crunchy cereal texture. Okay, let's end with a rant from Ryan. Starting a business in 2018 is easier than it's ever been. The things that hold people back from the goals that they have is they don't know what they want their business to be. They lack clarity. They think they don't have time or money, but they really do, because money is just a resource, and being resourceful is a really good indicator that you're going to be successful. Money is just one of many resources. Time is a finite resource, but you have full control over how you spend it. And number 3, the final constraint, the biggest constraint, is you're not around the right people, because the right or the wrong people will determine what opportunities show up to you. But we live in the internet age. You have access to every person in the world. If you are clear on what you want, you can cut out the things that are sucking up resources, and you can make relationships with the people that open up opportunities for you. There is absolutely no reason for you to not be able to go after and accomplish the things that you want. And I'll just read you something from my journal from this week. I was feeling a little bit like I wasn't moving as fast as I wanted to move. And then I remembered when I was getting into the best shape of my life, I realized that if I ate the right diet and I worked out hard enough, I would burn about 1/3 of a pound to 1/2 pound a day, which was basically the equivalent of an iPhone a day. And so I started realizing I can lose an iPhone a day. I can lose an iPhone a day. I can lose an iPhone a day. Every day is an opportunity for you to chip away towards the goals that you have. And so I wrote this down. Today is another day to chip away at the physical experience that I desire, both in movement and in fitness. Today is another way to build connection with my followers, to serve them joyfully, and to bring the world one step further along. Every day is an opportunity for you to chip away at the goals and the experiences that you want to have. Every decision that we make can lead you closer to that or take you away from it. And the things that take you away from it are not having clarity, not having the capital, and not knowing the right people. Go to events. Look at how you spend your time and your resources, and take the time to carve out what you want. And if you do that, there ain't nothing you can't have. I love you. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.